Welcome to Wednesdays with Willa. I am your host, Willa White, and this is my weekly podcast show that airs on Wednesday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern on my Facebook page. It also goes out on my YouTube channel as well as the Lilydale Assembly Facebook page. So you got lots of places that you can tune in, like, share, subscribe, follow, all those good things so we can keep more episodes coming to you. This is the end of year 8 of episodes of Wednesdays with Willa. So you've got lots of past shows that you can enjoy to your heart's content. Many people tell me they binge watch the show and they learn so much about spiritualism, mediumship, healing, faith, family, and more. And after the summer season, after I take a little hiatus, it's such a busy time in the summer, I will resume in the autumn for year 9 of episodes. I can't believe I'm saying that. It's so incredible. I love being able to do this and to help educate you and have a spiritual conversation. And just so people are prepared for this summer season, it starts on June 20th and it runs for 10 weeks. Our closing date is August 31st. During those 10 weeks, you can come to Lilydale. There are spirit message services, healing services. You can sit on a bench and receive a spiritual healing. You can attend lectures, wonderful workshops. And that all happens during this beautiful summertime in Lilydale, which is located about an hour south of Buffalo, about an hour north of Erie, Pennsylvania. And we meet in the middle on lovely Cassadaga Lake. And I encourage you to visit in the off season as well. It's quiet here. You can still usually get an appointment with a medium and enjoy walking in our natural space near the lake or into our old growth forest. And for more information about Lilydale, you can go to lilydaleassembly.org, and you can also register for the workshops there. All the information about how to find a medium, how to get accommodations here at one of the guest houses or one of the hotels, you can all find that there. So other things I need to announce real quickly, June 14th, which is Saturday, there's a special Fun Fest in Lilydale. There won't be a gate fee that weekend. So you can come and come onto the grounds. There'll be lots of vendors and lots of events that are going on throughout that day. So yes, we're really geared up to welcome you all here. So without further ado, I'd like to announce our topic for today's show, which is behind the scenes mediumship. And I have with me here today, MaryAnn DiMarco. Thanks for being on the show today, MaryAnn.
Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, I think it's great that you're coming to Lilydale and you're one of our season highlights, and you'll be able to share with those people who take part in your workshop behind the scenes mediumship, which is why we chose this particular topic title. And for those of you who don't know who MaryAnn DiMarco is, she is a psychic medium, author, healer, and spiritual teacher. She's been featured in the New York Times, Women's Health, Elle, Redbook, and several other media platforms. MaryAnn is the author of 3 books, Believe, Ask, Act, Medium Mentor, and her 3rd upcoming book, The Guides Book, which is due to be released this September. She leads retreats and workshops at Kripalu, and she's been a featured speaker at Soho House, The Well, Gabby Bernstein's Masterclass, and many more live events. MaryAnn DiMarco is a season highlight for the 2025 Lilydale summer season, and on July 27th, MaryAnn will teach by demonstrating her own reading technique and spirit message work in a gallery style format. So please see the link in this post to purchase your ticket now to her special event. So yes, thrilled to have MaryAnn on the show today to talk about mediumship and your own way of doing things. I thought we should start off with a little bit of your background of how you came to your mediumship, how you developed those intuitive gifts so that you could be who you are today.
Well, thank you for asking me that. It's been quite a road, I have to say. I've always known that I'm psychic. I really never questioned it. I was blessed to have a mom. I'm still blessed to have a mom who really into spirituality, very into psychics, all the fun things that I didn't find so fun when I was younger because I thought it was odd and weird and, all the things. But she encouraged me. I was going to meditation classes when I was 5 years old, 6 years old. I would go with her, tag along, and all types of spiritual conventions she would take me to. She would teach me about ascending masters and our guides and all of the energy that's around us, that our loved ones never leave us, that we could talk to them anytime. And she really made it very normal. So anytime I was having dreams of a loved one, if I was having visits of my grandmother or premonitions about things to be, she would just normally validate it like it wasn't that big of a deal. Oh, yeah, sure, that's exactly right. And then I would watch these things come into fruition. I didn't know how to do it controlled. I had no idea what I was doing, but I always knew that it was there and I forgot about it. I lived my life. I had got married, I had children, I was in the throes of being a young mom. And then when I got into my 30s, I wound up getting divorced, which was a shocker to me. And in that time frame, also, I lost my dear father-in-law, who I was very close with. So I was in the throes of a lot of different types of grief. And I was directed to see this psychic medium. Her name is Pat Longo. However, she was not a psychic. I thought I was making an appointment with a psychic, but when I called her, she is actually a spiritual teacher. And I got on the phone and I was really excited about it because I was like, oh, I have so much going on. Should I bring pictures of my loved ones? I thought I was coming for a reading. And she said, oh, I'm not a psychic medium. I teach people how to understand their own abilities, how to develop their psychic medium gifts. And I said quite automatically, oh, I think I'm supposed to see you now. And I now know that was downloaded and channeled and came right out of my mouth. And I started driving an hour each way to her class because there was no one where I lived. I lived way out on the east end of Long Island, and there was nobody. I know you think Long Island, there's psychics all over the place, but there was no one here teaching me anything. And I wound up going to her classes, and within just a couple of weeks, she got me to understand that spirit comes in your own voice, that there is this connection, that it's not this overthinking, to how to use my clairs. It all just sort of fell into place. And I was reading people pretty quickly. But I had a lot of education prior to that. So, and then ever
Yeah.
since then, I've been reading, and it just took off.
Beautiful. I think it does help to have that jump start.
Mm.
Those people who are watching the show and familiar with it, they know that I also had the benefit of both my parents actually
Oh, that's lovely.
supportive, and my mother's are a medium as well. So it really enhances our journey. We kind of on their coattails, so to speak. But then we're able to bring our own emphasis, our own energy and intention and right practice to those situations. So
Absolutely.
very exciting to see how that can evolve. So many people get frustrated that they can't jumpstart as fast as they would like to, and then other people kind of get the go ahead, a natural proclivity that is also then chosen to be trained up. And by fine tuning it, we can really bring those evidential pieces and the compassion that's necessary for the work as a professional.
Golden information you're giving your listeners right now, because I think that we can really get into a lot of comparisonitis and I'm watching this person do it, why can't I? And I love that you're bringing up the fact to sit, to train this muscle,
Mhm.
allow it to develop, knowing all the while you're guided by spirit, that they are going to help you layer in when you will have an upgrade, when you will feel new things. They are going to show you it takes a lot less work if we surrender to that. And so I love that. I love telling people, let them show you the breadcrumbs and don't worry about what anybody else is doing here. We were very fortunate to have parents that gave us permission and said yes, but we're all products of our environment. And so that might take some careful undoing for some people who maybe didn't grow up that way. And I will tell anybody who's listening, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, because I really wanted to be normal. I wanted to be,
I
I did
know.
not want to be the psychic kid. I wanted to be, just like everybody else. Very, maybe it was, just confined and conformed and whatever, and there's a rules and there's a way. And it wasn't like that in my home. It was very super open and all the things. But, I think we always crave what we don't have to some degree.
Absolutely, especially as that whole fit in, those years of wanting to fit in so desperately, and yet being able to feel other people's emotions and physical issues and the
Mm.
barrage, and then finally coming to terms with it and having the right coping strategies that we use to become more adaptable to the situation around us and buffer energy. So those are very, very necessary.
I agree.
In your teaching of other people in terms of their mediumship, have you noticed that there are certain things that if they could just maneuver a little bit, tweak a little bit, that they could bring some of that special light to it instead of maybe their negative thinking of their process, maybe their life story that they've had or other things.
Think we have to accept the fact that there might be some undoing. That's the first one. And forgive all of that because it's just part of our learning process while we're here on this earthly plane. The second part, though, is can we hone in on the belief system? Can we just trust that, yes, you yourself are part of the light and that the light is not separate from you, that we are one with the light, created and derived from it? And if we can get you to that belief system, then maybe we move you a little bit along to how you can change your perception. How are you thinking about your abilities? Can we edit? Can we take some of that negativity that maybe is no longer serving you, or some of those words that you're just habitually saying because it's the way that you were taught? And can we undo that in a gentle way where you just start to edit on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, whatever's comfortable for you? And I always encourage people that your practice, whatever it is, whether you're just looking to connect or you're looking to be a psychic medium, does not have to look like anybody else's. That you can lean into everything you've learned in life, what has served you and what hasn't, and use that in your spiritual practice if you choose to look at it as a tool, as
Excellent
something you
point.
can apply. Mm-hmm.
Excellent point, because people need to bring their own unique abilities to it. And if they, by career, have been a nurse, they're able to bring a lot of that medical intuition into things and real strong clairsentience. And so beautiful to see that unfold. You know, other people who are able to bring all of their auto mechanic understanding of things, they can really talk to the dudes on the other side and go, "Yep, this is the car your dad drove, and this is."
It's so true. It's so true. You do not have to reinvent the you wheel. We want you to be you. Spirit wants you to be you. And I always say every experience that I've had, every job that I have had, everything that anyone's experiencing in their life, you can apply that into your spiritual self and your whatever you're giving over to others. It's all frame of reference and it all can be used. Spirit will use all of it to make their point.
It's
So
true.
nothing's wasted.
And they will use everything you know and everything you don't know. So I found that I'm able to access things that I never had that experience. I have no idea why they would think this way, but here you go.
That's right. And I love that, Willa, because you're open to trusting that the image, the feeling, whatever it is you're hearing is there for a reason and that you might not be meant to understand it. But when you speak it out loud, if you're a training psychic medium, please say whatever you're seeing, hearing, and feeling. Just spit it out, even if you don't understand it, because the person that you're sitting across from may very well understand why you are seeing a dolphin in a red car. I mean, who knows why, you know what I mean? So they can say the craziest things, but definitely go with it. Go with it. Trust them.
And I call those times when they're just so off the wall. I call those wild cards. That's the bonus box that they get us into, and all this kind of beautiful treasure starts to come in out in that spirit data that we're able to share, and it shows that there's no way I could even make this up.
No, there's no Googling that.
No,
There's no Googling it.
it
Yep.
makes it very, very special. So,
Hmm.
if you could break down for us a little bit about your process. I know when you're here on July 27th, you're going to share much more in depth and you're going to share with people during your actual process, right? So,
Yes.
let's talk to them about that and
Hmm.
how that works.
So it starts off as a gallery style reading, but as I am reading, I am explaining to you everything that is going on with me as the conduit, everything that I am experiencing in that moment, how all of my clairs are being activated, how I'm receiving energy from different personalities on the other side, because many of them come through in many different ways, and how I am allowing this energy to come through me, not from me, how I am reading from my spiritual body and allowing my mental, emotional, and physical bodies to be to the side, just take a step aside as a frame of reference. And I go through this process. And what's fun about this, and I've done this with other workshops, but it's different every time because I never know who's coming through. I never know what Spirit's going to say. So it keeps it very fun for me. And I think what Spirit is trying to demonstrate through me is that it's not such a far reach. And that if we can learn to not overthink what we are receiving and just let it flow through us, what I notice with the class, the people in the audience, is that you see a lot of their shoulders go down. They start to relax. They start to see, oh, the light bulb goes off. And if I am, I don't know, smelling cookies and feeling the pull to go to somebody, and I start hearing baker, 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 in my ears, I am saying all of this out loud so that they can understand why I'm honed in on one particular person and what it is that spirit's trying to convey, even if I don't understand it at all, like we were talking about. And I think it's a kind of a cool unveiling, a little bit of behind the scenes. And to me, I've seen psychic mediums just find it so helpful. I think that it's fun to break down, but it's even more exciting to see people who are receiving the information have that light bulb go off for them. They're like, oh, this makes sense. That's the hope, at least.
Yes, that's the hope. And so in that kind of teaching format, you're able to deconstruct the message. So it's a little bit of spirit surgery, shall we
It
say.
is a little bit of spirit surgery. I love that. And it's also teaching how to deliver a message. I talk about care, concern, and compassion when we deliver. Will this serve? Why and how is spirit coming through is very important, but what we are saying in the translation is even more important sometimes, because we want to have people walking away with something that feels good and something that feels healing. We don't want to instill fear. We're not here to translate messages in a negative way. They can be heavy. They can be on the heavier side, depending on how someone passed or someone's going through in their life. So they can be validating that way. But they should always have a positive take. And I feel that spirit really delivers that they are happy to say, see what you're going through, and here is the spiritual prescription to help you through it or guide you through it, or we see what you're doing and we're validating and we're here for you, whatever the message may be. So you'll see a lot of, yes, me breaking it down, the spiritual surgery of it all, how that message then gets delivered with care, concern, and compassion. And then what's the takeaway? What is that extended message that spirit wants to say, that so that somebody can walk away with something that holds true to their heart, maybe helps in their healing?
That's beautiful. I completely agree with bringing through that sacred mediumship. It's very essential because I've seen people not be in that sacred zone and they can access information and it's bluntly given.
Yeah.
It's almost blunt force trauma.
It is
What?
almost blunt force trauma. And it's interesting. I'm from New York, and where I'm
Right,
around a lot of
right.
psychics. I'm an Italian American from New York, and I have this way of kind of being, yeah, we have a style about it. I still think I can absolutely be straightforward or be a little bit softer in the delivery, but it's never dictated by me. It's always dictated by how spirit wants to have it land.
Hmm.
And I think that demonstrates a beautiful way of how we pick up on each other's energy and how we can read the personalities, not only of souls on the other side, but the person that the message is landing with. And I always say we have to, as readers, I teach people to understand somebody's spiritual love language and allow your personality to morph in order to help your breadth of knowledge expand that breadth of knowledge so that we can deliver messages to all kinds of people here and from all kinds of people here. And I think it's a helpful tool that spirit has given us as psychic mediums, especially to be able to have this relatability with one another in this
Hmm.
world. And so I teach a lot of that evening too. I think you get to see different styles of delivery and why I might say something about spirit guides and fairies and planetary things to one person, but another person I might be talking about business and grounding themselves and finances, and I think that when we understand that again, it's not us, we're just allowing our frame of reference to come into this. The broader you make that, the more we can deliver over beautiful, authentic messages for everybody.
That is so true because we do have to have that that link with spirit is a psychic link that we're making. It could be full body immersion that's happening with the clairs, especially claircognizantly when we're able to work in those ways. But then also connecting in with that with the recipient, with the sitter, because you're not wanting to read their energy per se. You just want to know how best can we deliver. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you said, to soothe it to their
exactly.
vibration.
I
Because
picture.
some people are like this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. So there's boundaries involved.
Right.
Boundaries on their end, boundaries on our end, what we want to see here
They
and
better not talk about such and such, is what you're saying.
right, exactly. So sometimes I'll say to somebody, you know what I'm throwing down, right? Like I can feel the stop sign, I can feel the hand go up, spiritually. Don't deliver this full message. They'll understand what you're saying. I always picture the energy like an infinity symbol between all of us, and that the words between myself and a sitter are within that beautiful infinity symbol and they'll be delivered. And so I always say before I read, Dear Spirit, give me the words to serve, because the words will be theirs and hopefully it will feel like it's in alignment for whoever I'm speaking with.
That's beautiful. Now, just a little bit even more behind the scenes, before we talk more about when you're in the midst of it, what do you do to prepare to do your message work?
Really depends on the energy. I always move into spaces of gratitude. I always do sort of like 5, 10 minutes before I do an event. I open up to the style of the room, the energy of the room. Does the room feel like a bunch of learners? Does the room feel like people who are really grieving? Does the room feel maybe it's a mix of everything, but they graciously give me the energy to help myself adjust my own style and how I'm going to break down these readings. Interesting. I drive my work team here on earth a little crazy because they'll give me agendas and I think that's nice. Well, we can suggest it, but I always feel spirit kind of comes in and it helps adjust. So I like to tune into that adjustment. I will always say, Dear Spirit, give me the words to serve. I call in my guides and angels around me to help guide me and protect me. And I envision myself as a kind of my spiritual body as a golden light. I bring in the light, I ground myself, of course, and then I allow that spiritual self to walk out there. And then I have these other emotional and physical and earthly bodies sort of following me. And that's really it. Uh, I try to avoid feeling the anxiety of spirit build up in my solar plexus, which can happen. I don't know if that happens to you, but it does to me. And I never had anxiety until I started reading. And then I realized it's just a buildup of energy. So now I welcome it. It's a good cue that everybody's getting ready. I try to have a lot of fun with it, Willa, honestly. I speak to my guides and loved ones just the way I'm speaking to you. And I'm not very, I don't have one singular practice. I just have a very consistent practice depending on the energy.
I understand what you're talking about, that buildup of energy. To me, it's a little bit more in the sacral chakra area.
Mm.
I can tell that I'm preparing. Those butterflies are actually spirit beginning to stir, especially when someone is clairsentient. A clairsentient medium is going to start to feel that stirring in them. And they may feel that that's a trepidation, but that's actually anticipation. You're getting ready to open to the experience. And yeah, it's like little butterflies.
Yeah, I always welcome them now. I'm like, "Oh, hey everyone. I'm so glad you're here." I get very excited now and I feel it because I know it wasn't until I started doing large groups and I didn't want to get out of bed because I thought, "How can I do this?" And then I realized, "Oh, that's just them. They're
Yeah.
just helping me out and they're just a little early." And so I started to understand boundaries a little bit better and I would say to them, "You guys are about 2 hours too early. I'll see you in a little while." And then it would dissipate.
And
And
then
it's just
you
my
can
guides teaching me new practices.
exactly, and you can tell them, okay, now I'm ready to step into the power.
We're
Now I'm
open.
ready to serve and be a true channel to you at this time.
That's
But
right.
yes, having those healthy boundaries with spirit is really essential. So,
Hmm.
moving forward, breaking it down a little bit more, as you're talking to the different recipients and you're communicating with spirit, do you notice that you have certain clairs that you have as dominant ones?
I used to. I think the way I was very much clairvoyant, clairaudience were dominant for a very long time. Now that I've been doing this so long, maybe you feel the same way. I feel like they're all in unison. I see, I hear, I'm feeling, I'm tasting, and it's all sort of happening at once. I'm a fast talker normally,
Mhm.
and I explain. about how I'm receiving information. It's a three-way conversation. I've always been a person who can have a conversation and hear another one going on in another room.
Mhm,
And that's
mhm.
somewhat what it's like to start hearing them. And I feel very lucky to have them all working at once. They guides and loved ones are like, yeah, just throw everything at her and she'll just break it all down. And then, of course, depending on the energy and who is connecting with me, however they feel they best communicate, they'll take a dominant Claire and they'll extract it. So maybe someone's really visual on that other side, or they're trying to interrupt me to get me to pay attention to them. I'm sure you've had this happen where you'll just hear your name called really loud, or they're saying their name really, really loud, and you can't help but say their name because they're trying to interrupt you. I do have the energy of little spirits. Children will tug on my, my shirt, bottom of my shirt or something. I feel little tingles in the back of my head. Usually it's one of my doing like this. If you can't see me, if you guys aren't watching, I'm touching the back of my head because they'll play with my hair. All of it. What about you? What about you? All of them. You do all.
All of
Yeah.
them. I would say I'm strongly clairsentient, which
Hmm.
I would rather feel than see.
Okay.
I just love being totally swept up in their essence. And the
I love that too.
claircognizance, I get just clear downloads
It's
about
my
those.
favorite
I
Claire.
definitely see, I hear, taste, smell all the clairs, but I like being in that immersive experience with spirit
Hmm.
where for a little while I'm them. I know how they
Yes.
feel and how they react to situations.
Hmm.
And I'll banter a little bit sometimes with them just to see how they react to certain questions I may pose to them. That I'm having this conversation with them while I'm having a conversation with the client, with the recipient of the
Hmm.
message. And it's really kind of fun to see how that evolves and to just be that intervening space of love that happens. I get a vicarious thrill. I don't know about you, but I feel it's
Some
like
people's lives
it's
were,
heady,
yes,
you
so
know?
extraordinary. I love what you're saying. I hear everything that you're saying. I love it. I love feeling the personalities of the people on the other side. And it's so validating to the sitter. Comes in so evidential.
Yeah.
I used to act when I was a kid, and I love taking on personalities. So they definitely will use those personalities, and I enjoy teaching that part of mediumship, especially to my
The
students.
mimicry, right?
Yes, I love that. And to your point, I love feeling their lives. I love feeling the energy that they're trying to emit to their loved one and the point that they're trying to make through that feeling. And I think my favorite Claire, if I had to pick a favorite, is Claire Cognizance, because it's so supportive and
Yeah.
so you're so in your knowing that it's just such a reassurance. If anyone is out there really trying to make connections, psychic medium or not, focus on that claircognizance because I think it's the most comforting Claire. There's such a reassurance that comes through that Claire of that knowing that we are not alone, that knowing that we're making that higher connection, that knowing of you've got this, that just that knowing that we are around you. Love that Claire.
Yeah.
And
I
the
could eat
conviction in the delivery, that conviction that it gives you, and that I just know this is what spirit's trying to say, no matter if my client is looking, going, nope, mm-mm. Keeps that ego aside and says, just stay here
yeah.
with us. We've got you. We're not going to let anything happen. Just stay with it.
Oh yeah.
I love that, Claire.
I hear you. I could eat that all day. That's the best thing.
Yum, yum, yum.
So many people are like, why don't I see them? Why don't I hear them? Well, that might not be the way you receive
That's right.
information. And
Hmm.
quite honestly, I would rather feel them. I would like their hug instead of a cold picture talking to me or something. I just,
I'm gonna get you seeing and feeling at the same time. It's my
well,
goal.
I could do both, but
You can
if
do
I
both.
have to choose,
If you
if I
had to
have to
choose the
choose,
one.
I want the feeling
Yeah, I
because
love that feeling. I do.
that's what people miss. They miss
Yeah.
being able to hug, to cuddle, to really convey in those ways with
Yeah.
most of their people. And yes, we can even see by feeling.
Definitely.
So
I always tell people, what do you feel you're seeing when they tell me I can't see anything. All I
yeah.
see is the inside of my eyelids. And I'll say, well, what do you feel like is there? What do you feel like you want to say? What do you feel like you heard? Well, I feel
Hmm.
like I heard, well, there you are. So
Right.
yeah, laying into that feeling of it. One of the strong ones. I love the
Yeah.
point you're making with that. I
Because when we say about what do you see, sometimes that engages people's logical mind. They're
right.
all about cataloging, categorizing things,
That's right.
trying to describe what they're seeing, and they've
Hmm.
missed the mark when they've
I
done that.
agree. Yep.
So yeah,
I
claircognizance will help you, clairsentience will help you. So
love.
as you explain those to people on July 27th when you're here,
Yes.
uh, you're going to actually be interrupting yourself
Yes.
on purpose.
I love
So
that you said that.
a message would normally take you how many minutes?
Oh, pretty quick. Pretty quick.
Quick, pretty quick. Let's say 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But because you're breaking it down, spirit surgery happening here
Yes.
are the moving parts. How
That's
long do you
right.
think a message is going to take you?
Oh, maybe 10. It depends on, again, the spirit. I wish I could. It's so, I've been doing this style for a while now. And like I said before, I think it's such a cool thing because it always changes up for me. So it keeps it nice and interesting for myself as well. I think some spirit really wants me to drive the point home, depending on the crowd and what their needs are.
Mhm.
Their needs. It can be very fast. If they are a group who is a little bit more advanced or a little bit more aware, Spirit will absolutely show me that, and then I'll take it up a notch and test them a little bit more too to see what they're up to and what they can do. And to me, yeah, I mean, it could be anything from, hey, I'm smelling pizza. I'm right here. This is Joe. You own pizza places. I talk about that in my media mentor. Or it could just be, I need to tell you exactly what happened here. First, it started with a taste of pizza in my mouth. Then I am hearing somebody who will not stop say the word Joe, the name Joe, Joe, over and over and over again. My solar plexus is pulling me literally to this table, and my gaze will not get off of you. I am right here with you. I can't stop looking at you. And there's a reason why, because spirit wants me engaged. So it just depends on how they want me to break it down. We're always at
So,
a loss for time, though. I find that. So I always
of
feel like
course,
there's never enough to
and people
say.
always want more.
We want, well, I want more. And then I'm always like, I can't believe we're out of time.
I know. So in this, you will be going direct mediumship to people rather than indirect mediumship. Is that what I'm hearing?
I will be doing collective psychic mediumship, probably for the crowd, downloading things for the crowd as well. I absolutely will
Okay.
channel open messages depending on the energy of the room. If I
Mhm.
feel directly drawn to somebody, absolutely will do that as well. If it's within a group, I'll do that. I'll do whatever spirit tells me to do. It's really up to them, and however they direct me, that's how the night will go.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's fun.
And some of the other nuances of behind the scenes, what else do you think would be important for people to understand
I
about
think
your way of working?
um that I'm pretty down to earth about it, that I'm not very, for lack of a better word, I'm not very wooey about it all. I'm pretty practical. I try to explain it in a very practical way because I think that's how I found it to be relatable. And I find that most people, it works better that way. And I can't do it any other way because that's my style. I think people will be surprised how easy it is to embrace. And I hope that they walk away with that. I think we have a tendency to complicate it for ourselves and make it something outside of self instead of something that resides within. And so I hope that they see that you're just waking up. You were born here with it and these abilities, and that you've just been in a little bit of a slumber. And so be kind to yourself. That
Mhm.
sometimes it takes us a little, some people are not morning people, and it might take us a little hot minute to just stretch and, rework those muscles that we sort of forgot and to lean into the awakening that's going on for self and for world and all those things. I just want them to feel that it's a kind space, and I've been them. I have been in your seat, so there's no judgment. You will come, please come with the most curious and crazy questions that you can ever want to ask. I will be doing Q&A, and
Okay.
I love Q&A because I think it gives people an opportunity to say, I know you might think this is crazy, but which is usually what people start sentences off with me, and I'll say, I promise you I won't. And I will talk about anything from aliens to angels that don't care.
You're open to the whole
I am
kit
because there's
caboodle.
so many different schools of thought and so many things that we can discuss. And I know that we come from all walks of life, yet we're all have a common thread. So you're in a safe space. These are your people. Come with all of that curiosity because you're hopefully any class that I do, my hope is that people walk away feeling like they have a sense of community, that they can make some friends, that they can make connections and that they feel seen in those spaces as psychic mediums, especially. And even if you're not looking to be a psychic medium, if you're just looking to understand how to make better connection with your loved ones, your guides, to higher self, source, whatever it is, you are welcome in that space. This is not just for psychic mediums. This is for anybody who is psychically curious and just come on out.
That's right. If
Yeah.
you're curious and if you're wanting to see how the process works within this particular style with MaryAnn, I would encourage you to go ahead and get registered for her workshop, which is on July 27th. I think it's wonderful that you'll be able to really lean into some of those nuances for people. And for those of the people who are more in a developing medium space, what do you think will be best that you can bring to the table for them?
If they're in a developing medium space, psychic medium space, I hope that this helps them sharpen their tools even more, that it helps them understand maybe some of where they think they're having blockages aren't actually blockages, that maybe we're just looking at this with a different scope, and that you're learning tools that are going to help enhance your practice, benefit, of course, your sitter, and teach you how to manage your energy, have boundaries, reclaim and renew your own energy after readings. I'm very big into making sure you get properly trained how to do this so that your energy is protected, that your body and your vessel become a huge part of that protection, that we respect how many hours you're reading, to not drain yourself, all of these things. Process maybe some of the confusing things that you don't understand that spirit is showing you as well, that maybe we can work with some of those translations to help tweak your translations so that they feel more in alignment with self and source. All kinds of things. I really go there, Willa. Whatever,
You really go there. I can
whatever they
tell.
want. Please come. I would love for you to come. You're invited, Willa.
Aw, thank
I'd love for
you.
you to come. Yes, please join me.
I think it'd be great to see you in action in these ways and to see how you're in that inspired space from spirit to help direct and teach while you're in the medium space. So
Thanks for
they are
that.
very much a separate thing
They
typically,
are.
and so to merge them is
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
yeah,
I
an
appreciate
adventure.
that because I'm trying to, and I don't know how you feel about this. I would really love to find and to have more conversations about demystifying all of this for people and not having it be so odd and weird or whatever it is that people want to say. I think that I just want to create this space of normalcy, quote unquote, for whatever that looks like for the person sitting in that room, that they can create spiritual authenticity and have
Mhm.
that shine within themselves and teach that whatever we learn, we teach. I am a teacher, but I am always learning.
Yes.
And so whatever I learned from our conversation today, I mean, I love your energy and I love how your perspective on things. I think it's really beautiful. We are very similar, with very in alignment. Yeah, I could see.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
love I these conversations are important, and I just remember feeling such a sense of community when I walked into that classroom for the first time and being so relieved that they were like-minded thinkers. And so I hope they find that. I hope they understand that we can do both. We can be humans here on Earth and still be psychically connected. It's
That's
okay.
right. Because there is that element of should we separate those things so that we can be more purely attuned to spirit? Because those are our efforts to be more authentic, more
Hmm.
evidential.
Right.
And yet we have to have a foot here on the earth plane to be
Oh,
able
you
to
are
somehow magically convey, put into words what we're experiencing.
you are speaking my love language, girl. Yes.
Yeah,
We have to remember that we are earthly, that we are here to experience this earthly plane, and there's so much to learn here. There's
yeah.
so many things to do. I talk about this in the upcoming book, the guides book, and it's all about connecting with your guides. It's all about understanding how to navigate through life using what's been given to you, this connection to your guides, loved ones, angels on the other side, whatever it is for you, and how we can have that as a tool to help us understand this world that we came to for a reason. There's nothing wasted. Spirituality as a tool, not an answer. Spirituality as a tool to help you find your answer. Very important.
That's an important distinction to make. And
Yeah.
having that spiritual support team, it helps. So in the moments when you may feel low energy as a medium, you can go, hey guys, need a little help here. And they'll be
That's
like,
right.
here's your battery. Let's switch this out. Oh, here's some information that you may want about this particular spirit communicator. Oh, let me bring in this other thing about them. And it's so beautiful to see how we can get to a point where we can gloriously take for granted all the beautiful things they do for us.
They are miraculous. And
Yes.
they never cease to amaze me. My guides will cancel appointments on me if I am too drained. They will do
That
it.
can happen.
They
That
are
can
like,
happen.
you know what? We've told you. And now we're gonna
And
cancel.
now we're pulling you. We're pulling
And
you.
my people who do my scheduling are always like, do you want me to fill in the appointment? And I always say, no,
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
supposed
free
to read
space
today.
for me.
I'm not supposed to do this. I mostly teach now. I haven't done, I don't do a lot of readings anymore. I had to stop doing readings because it was too crazy. It was a long wait list, and I wasn't feeling called. I was feeling called to teach. But even that, I'm still channeling the entire time. And I think, after a while, if we, just like any other job, and
Yes.
so I always
You need
feel
a break.
you need a break, and our guides have our back. They're coming in saying, we're watching you.
Yes.
And
And
so,
they chose to work with us. I do feel
yes.
that they choose they say, hey, this person is ready to go to the next level in this
Hmm.
particular understanding or category of mediumship or intuition or healing, all those aspects of the soul. And they get excited for us.
Hmm.
And so they show up. And
Hmm.
we have to do the work of also showing up for them and for ourselves.
I love that you said that because this is a team effort.
Yeah.
And it's 3:33 here, by the way, on that
Oh,
note.
yes. Yep.
I love that you said that because it's not all on them. And they're saying to us, hey, we see you. Thanks for saying yes to what we've asked of you. And we've got your back, but you have to do your part. You're an active participant in your co-creation here, whatever you're looking to co-create. I always tell my guides, show me the breadcrumbs and I will say yes. Show me what you want me to do. And if it's in alignment with my boundaries and all the things, I will say yes. And there's a lot of things that have not happened because of that, because of the boundaries, gratefully so. And
Yeah.
there are wonderful things that unfold all the time. And I think we're all capable of doing that, every
Yes.
single one of us here. But I always say we have to remember that we are residing here, that this higher frequency that we talk about, raising your vibration on, it's a lovely place to visit. But we have to kind of come back down to this nice earthly place so that we can rest. This is like running a marathon
Yeah.
every day up here.
I have so many professional mediums and psychics come to me and they are beyond tired.
Yeah.
They have felt very special, but they have run themselves into the ground energetically and they are kaput and they never want to do another reading again. They're at that level and degree because they haven't taken the steps necessary to guard their energy appropriately, to handle that which needs to come first
Hmm.
in all of this. And so then we step them back and they're able to get back into that not emergency space, not walking up to people in the grocery store. Oh,
First of all, please no. No, no,
please,
no. People don't do that. That is
exactly.
like the worst. I think first of all, I talk about this with when I teach
Good,
people readings on
good.
you'll hear this. I tell them you have to ask permission.
Yes,
Not everybody wants you up in their business. And you
that's
shouldn't
right.
just be randomly opening up for the fun of it, too, by the way.
Right. And
I
you're
mean,
not supposed to be the show at the dinner party that you went
no, you are not a magic eight ball. You are not the show. You're not the dinner hour show. And you have to learn that no and closed hours is part of your boundaries and very important to your well-being. Kim Russo, I don't know if you know her, the happy medium. She's a lovely medium. I love Kim. And she said once, you only get a certain amount of chi. And if you're constantly giving out and giving out, you don't get a lot of opportunity to replenish that. We have to be very aware of the boundaries and what it takes on us mentally and physically to give all of that information. And really anyone in your anyone in life, even if you're not a psychic medium, mind
Yeah.
your boundaries and mind your energy. What do you do to replenish? What's your go-to?
Oh, see, I'm fortunate. I live in Lloydale, so I've
Oh,
got
so
nature
you just walk out and like
all
stand in the
around me.
vortex?
So I'm just
You just
kind of,
raise your hands in the vortex and are like,
you
it's giving
know,
healing. There's healers just around
I,
you.
I love being able to walk near water,
Yeah.
kayak on
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
be in that space, breathe in the beautiful air from our lovely old growth forest trees. I don't know. It's just it's what I do, and actually, it's very grounding for me to have a husband and children and all of those things, and be very much in that human experience with them. So those all kind of offset, and I've definitely declared boundaries early on in my own mediumship and have been able to sustain them for years, decades now.
Yeah.
And happily so, I have figured out for myself how to be gentle so that when I am with a client or whatever I'm doing with my family, I'm 100%. That's where I am. I'm not thinking about something else. I'm right there. That's where I am. And being in that space of the power of now has really helped me enormously.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Any last things that you'd like to share with our audience today about the behind the scenes mediumship that you think would be valuable? Another big takeaway for them before we close out our show today.
I think if you are excited about blasting open some of your clairs and having some fun doing it and feeling like you are in a space where you're with your people, that is something you will absolutely experience. That I have no doubt. And I think I love to have a lot of fun too. So
Oh, yeah.
we'll laugh a lot. We might cry some too. But it's always a good time. I'm really excited about coming too. I've never been there, and I'm super excited about experiencing the town and meeting people myself and enjoying what Lilydale has to offer because I hear it's just an outstanding place to be.
It really is. And I'm glad that you have that understanding of that playfulness. I always tell my students that's the magic ticket right there. If you can just go and enjoy playing in the sandbox and see what happens,
Yep.
then you're able to really engage. And so people come join in on this beautiful event that MaryAnn DiMarco will be here. If people want to find more about you, where can they find you?
They can go to my website at MaryAnnDiMarco.com. They can go on Instagram or Facebook at MaryAnn the Medium. And all of my events are listed on my website.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we thank you so much for coming on Wednesdays with Willa today and look forward to your visit this summer. All right, everyone, I'll see you next week for another great show before I go on summer hiatus. Bye bye.